Hello and welcome. This is Computer Applications, and of course I'm your instructor, Dennis Westman. I wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about completing the labs in this class. This class, Computer Applications, is very much a hands-on class. Of course, since you're taking this online, it's really hands-on. But the way the class is designed is that you will be working through various projects and lab exercises throughout the textbook, and then turning in those lab assignments and those exercises. But let me talk a little bit about the actual process of that, because I think it'll help you to better understand how to complete the items and turn them in as we move throughout the weeks during the semester. So what you're going to find is that in each week's content folder, you're going to find your specific assignments for that week. Now, it could be exercises, it could be skills reviews, it could be independent challenges, and of course there's going to be discussion board activities as well. And so what I would encourage you to do is read through all of the assignments carefully and make sure that you have a really good understanding as to what should be completed for that week. Because usually I will not assign all of the activities for that particular applications section for that week. I'll pick and choose, usually picking the ones that I think cover the most topics, that I think are interesting, that I think maybe would help you most, not only in this class, but then afterwards after you've taken this class. So again, read the assignment information carefully and complete the activities. Now let's talk a little bit about working through the chapters. Now, as you've probably noticed, there is usually around 20 pages or so of step-by-step items that have you create and merge and manage and save as various documents before you get to the end of chapter exercises. Now, I may require you to turn some of those in. Other times I will not require you to turn those in, but it is an extremely good practice to complete those, whether or not I ask you to turn them in or not, because those are going to give you the step-by-step directions on how to complete not only those activities, but the activities that are found at the end of the chapter. So if you complete those, you should be prepared to complete the skills reviews and the independent challenges. And if you ask me questions on the independent challenges and say, hey, you know, I really don't understand something, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, let me see your chapter activity. Let me see the file and see how you did on that, because it's really hard for me to answer questions on the independent challenges if you haven't worked through the chapter. And so again, I may not necessarily require it each week as far as turning it in, but you are strongly encouraged to work through the chapter materials. And again, I will require it on some weeks. It just depends. You'll need to refer to that course content folder for that particular week to see whether that's required or not. So again, make sure that you complete the exercises throughout the chapter before moving on to the end of chapter activities. Now let's talk a little bit about the end of chapter activities. Typically there's a skills review, and then there's a couple of independent challenges. And I will assign 1, 2, 3 of those, just depending on the week, the material, and that sort of thing. And so those will give you the directions on how to complete those items, save the documents, and then ultimately upload them. Finally, let's talk a little bit about saving, printing, and turning the documents in. First of all, since this is an online class, do not print any documents unless you want the documents for yourself. I do not need any kind of printed document. So anytime it says to print, just go ahead and skip that step. But what you do want to be careful of is when it says save, be sure to save. When it says save as, be sure to save as. And then usually at the end of each activity, it will ask you to save and then print. Well, obviously don't print, but make sure that you save the document, because that is the version of the document that you need to turn in. And so again, follow all the steps, and towards the end it'll ask you to save and then print. Please save, but do not print, because it's not needed. And then that final saved version is the one that you'll turn in class. And then finally, to turn in the documents, use the assignment link where the assignment was given to attach and then upload the documents into the Blackboard course site. Okay. As usual, if there are any questions, please feel free to post to the discussion boards and help each other out in the lab discussion, or you're welcome to email me and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you and have a great day.